Hey, g'day. Cam here, bass player for Dimensionist, producer, whole heap of stuff. Yeah, so just want to say, thank you for everyone who, commented, got in touch, or whatever about the last video. That's had way more views than I'd expect. And, been seeing, heaps of lovely comments in, threads, that other people have made on the internet and stuff about it. It's been fucking wild. So, really glad everyone got a real kick out of it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, click the thing. I'll try and put a thing there to, learn how to make your bass sound like a synth bass. Real simple, really fast. You can totally do it. And I believe in you. So in that video, I was like, hey, any requests? And overwhelmingly people were like, hey, how do we get pads? How do we get pads on the bass? So I had to think about it, tried a couple of things, and I think I picked a bit of a winner. Basically, I was like, okay, when you play a pad on your keyboard, you use, kind of 6 notes at least, makes a really nice, thick, wide-sounding pad. So I was like, all right, let's try and make the bass play 6 notes at once. So without further ado, I'm just going to launch into it. Today we'll be using my Dingwall Combustion 5. You don't need a high-end bass to do this tutorial at all. You can just do it with whatever's cheap and cheerful, whatever you got, just go for it. This bass is set up in F sharp, so because I'm in a metalcore band primarily, but you'll just be using the high strings for this, so it really doesn't matter. In fact, if your bass is set up higher, you're going to get more out of it. So, more for you. Okay, let's crack in. So first, we're gonna get the utility, and we're just gonna put a gate on the front, like that. Set somewhere around there, we'll figure it out later. But basically, I was thinking, how do we actually go about playing six notes at once on the bass for a nice big thick chord? And I was like, well, you probably just use the mini voicer, right? Because the mini voicer can get incoming note and split it into 3, and you can have the mini voicer basically play a chord for you. So let's go see our friend the mini voicer. So yeah, we're gonna leave this one intentionally blank. We're gonna come back to it. But the mini voicer essentially, like I said, gets your signal and then splits it into 3 and play the unaffected signal just untouched, but then you can add notes on top of it, right? So because my bass is set up in F sharp and what I want to play is F sharp, we're going to set this up in F sharp minor as well. Minor because I'm a sad boy. Almost there. What we want to do is pop this interval up to maybe a 10, and then we want to chuck this one up to a 14. I usually think that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, so there's our bass, 1 note playing 3 notes. It's essentially a one-handed chord on the keys. So that's pretty rad. Still sounds a lot like a bass though. So what we'll do is let's try and make it sound like oscillators. And if you remember from the last video, we want to bang a heap of distortion in there. So what's the distortion one? Overdrive. I think the fuzz is pretty sick. I'm kind of going for this Prophet synth sort of vibe. Oh, bass, of course. bit fuzz. Right there. Yeah. So what we're going to do is bang the sustain up a bit, a little bit more tone, and see what it sounds like. And also, I just encourage anyone, like, whenever you're turning stuff, just like turn it a bit, you know, play it a bit, just muck around, because you never know if you find some, like, if you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do these settings and it's going to sound great. But on the way there, you might actually find something really, really golden. I think we might put like a little bit more sustain on, and maybe a little more tone. Yeah, that's cool. That's sounding nice and bright now. Sweet. And what I'll do is, like, because it's like a kind of high chords, high notes, we will actually chuck a filter on the backside of this, or just the EQ. Yeah, low high cut. Nice and simple. Low high cut, low high, high low. Anyway, maybe chuck it up to like 18, and this will help like clean up all the, you know, just low end, like when you're pitter pattering on the strings and moving about. It'll just take all the low end out of it and clean it up a bit. So you don't want to go too high to kill all the body of the sound, but there's certainly no bass left in there really. Beautiful. So that's kind of like the left-hand side, but let's add in the right-hand side and really, like, you know, really make this nice and full. So yeah, we're gonna put a split in. Click, yeah, beautiful. Put the split in here, and we'll mix it back in here right after. So yeah, we're gonna use the balance, and we're just gonna have the balance literally 50-50 straight down the middle. That way, like, both of your hands are equal volume. And yeah, let's bang another multi-voicer in there. There we go. Mini voicer. So we're going to set it up exactly the same. We're just going to change the root first. And yeah, just change the root to whatever song you want to play with, or whatever your favorite tuning is. Yeah, we're going to set it up more or less the same. Let's go, yeah, let's just go 14 and 14 for now. 10 and 14. So, as you'd expect, sounds just exactly the same, just more of it. For this one, yeah, we're just going to chuck a pitch shifter in front, and we're going to pitch it up an octave. So and that's, like, you know, the very foundation, I think, of this patch. Some nice, like, bright sounding oscillators and some pretty chords, and literally all played with one note. Sounds great when you're playing great. This is one of those patches that rewards clean playing and absolutely punishes you for playing a wrong note. Or for the most part, it can't play two notes at the same time as well. For example, or if you try and play them both at the same time, it just sounds god awful. But there's like certain intervals you can play at the same time. You just got to work that out within your scale that you've selected. So another cool thing I found is that if you play like octaves, you can like bend a note slightly and get some really interesting modulation. So I'll play the open to D for me, it's probably a G for you, and then just the 5th fret below it as well, and you'll hear what I mean. That's really cool. If you have quantize on, I don't think bends really work. I think it'll start to jump around, and I suggest leaving quantize off, because I think what it will do is try and like jump you up or down to the nearest notes, and sometimes they just go like wildly out of key, just randomly, and it sounds really bad. So I recommend not doing that. But basically, like, this is just the oscillator setup, and I think that sounds pretty sick. So we're gonna go and bang a filter on there. Last time I used the good old envelope filter, I think, but I'm gonna use the Moog Mooga Fuga. Oh, it looks like it's already assigned to the expression pedal for me. That's nice of it. I have an expression pedal, and I highly recommend you use one too. That just like being able to like sweep through the notes, just it really sells the synth sound, but it's just so much more, you know, expressive as well. It just sounds way better. So yeah, basically a little bit of drive, 100% mix. 2-pole is kind of like a kind of mild filter, and 4-pole is a lot more aggressive. It's a lot more filter sounding. I'll kind of show you the difference. So so that's the 4-pole. It basically just makes the cutoff a lot more aggressive, and that resonant peak as well will make it a bit sharper. So more filtery sounding. I think in this context, the like more resonance sounds better. Yeah, I think that sounds pretty cool. By all means, try the other filters, whatever. Just experiment, you know, just muck around, have fun, make it yours. That's what it's all about. So that's sounding pretty cool. I like the sound of the oscillators and filter and chords and all that, but it's obviously really dry. So yeah, best way to make some nice luscious pads is to just give it a smothering of delay and reverb. So I'm gonna bang in just the digital delay, and you really want to run this patch in stereo if you can. It's just gonna sound just way more beautiful. So yeah, we're gonna keep the mix at 50. Yeah, nice. Might chuck the feedback up just a little bit, and yeah. Yeah, so basically, you know, what delay can do in this instance is when you change the note, you know, the old notes are still going, and it just kind of makes the pad even bigger, essentially. And to make it even bigger, we're gonna chuck a reverb on it. Do love me a cavernous reverb on a synth, so let's try the cave reverb out and see what happens. Oh yeah. Nice. I'm gonna mix it up just a little bit more. Let's make it a bit more extreme. See what that sounds like. Hell yeah. Don't know what you guys reckon, but I reckon that sounds pretty damn good. Well, that's kind of like, you know, a nice basic. Yeah, it kind of gives it a nice kind of vintage sound, depending on where you are in the filter as well. From here, I'd start chucking some modulation in. So one cool thing I found was using tremolo and vibrato on like extreme settings was really, really fun. So pop this before the delay and reverb. I generally have them, you generally have those on the end of the chain anyway. Yeah, so if we want to pop this on, I want to have like a sync. And kind of see where I'm going with this already, probably. Yeah, so what the tremolo is doing is it's basically doing like a volume swell, but we can use extreme settings to, you know, make it sound like really choppy, and we can do that by changing the waveform to slow down, and that'll give it like a doof, doo, doo, doo. Playing around with the timing of that, you know, to the song that you're playing along to. That can be really fun. I think I did that in the intro as well. Another one you can stuff around with is vibrato. So what vibrato can do is basically with some more extreme settings is it can like make the overall pitch just have this really nice slow wobble to it, and if you want that kind of like lo-fi vibes, this is it, man. So yeah, let's have a play around with it. So it's probably going to be quite fast at 5 hertz. Yeah, so if you get that rate down a bit more. And you can basically just have a muck around with the depth until you're feeling it, basically. So. Awesome. I think that should give you some, you know, just some inspiration, some ideas, some good starting points from where to go with your pad patch. If you have any more questions about this or any part, really, just hit me up in the comments or shoot me a message on Insta or Facebook or wherever you want to find me. But that's pretty cool for pads. But I thought as just like a, you know, just another level again where you can take this patch is, you know, kind of drawing from the last video tutorial about making a synth bass. We can basically, we got this whole other thing, and I mean, you could save it for like a, you know, your clean bass scenes, or you could put a big old synth bass onto there. So let's do that. We want the input as input 1, and we just want to send this to multi-outs. Yep, beautiful. Rad. For now, what I'll do is I'll just pop on here and turn the volume down of our beautiful pad patch. And yeah, we're gonna make our bass. So what we'll do is we will, you know, we'll be smart about it this time, and let's use this guy, our gate here. Great. And what we'll do is we'll use the Soviet fuzz again. We like that one. That one's pretty cool. Nice and extreme. Turn it up a little bit. One thing I found since doing the last synth-based tutorial is if you actually jump on this polyoctaver, so I'll put the polyoctaver there instead, and if you take, so you take all the dry out of it, and you take all the octave out of it, and then just turn the sub up. You actually end up with like a really kind of, it's kind of like almost a square sounding sub, and I think it's a bit thicker. But what we'll do is our trick from last time as well, where we get the pitch shifter, put the pitch shifter in there. Yeah, so we're just going to run the mix, 50% like we did last time, and if it'll let us, 50.3, good enough. And we'll take this this fine pitch down a little bit, and if you haven't watched the last video, basically we're getting our sub bass signal, and then we're just splitting it in two by mixing it 50-50, and we're making one of the tones just a little bit detuned, and you'll hear the effect that it gives you. So it kind of gives it this real wobbly sound, and then we're just going to put a filter after that and get rid of all that nasty stuff in the top. Let's use the fig for this as well, because it sounds pretty fat. What we will do though is we'll go to this expression pedal, and we'll actually just get rid of that this time. Yeah, nice, great. Ooh, so good. So yeah, with a little bit of drive, I'm not sure where your default setting will be, but this seems to be mine. With a little bit of drive, it just really just really thickens it up. And that sounds obviously you want to be using headphones right now. By the way, or you won't hear a thing. I think that sounds really nice and deep. So what we'll go and do is bring back this pad. Just pop in here and bring that back up to 0. Remember what I said about rewards good playing and punishes you for playing wrong notes? Exhibit A, everyone, you're welcome. So I don't know. That's pretty nice. Pretty thick sounding. What I'd recommend is, just go set up some scenes now. So maybe for scene A, this is actually off. Maybe this guy's off as well. Actually, let's just, so we'll just maybe make scene A like just the pad by itself, and then we'll go ahead and make scene B the pad with the bass. Lovely. And then maybe scene C can be this guy turned on, so smoothing absolutely necessary for this downward saw, I think. Just kind of takes that like that really Just takes the attack off it, and I think just sounds a little bit nicer. Yeah, a little bit more smooth. Hence the smoothing. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, smoothing for the win. And then yeah, maybe C and D. We'll have the lo-fi sounding thing. Yeah, so from here, try different chords, try different distortions, try different filter types. I was having a bit of a muck around with this the other night, and man, the shimmer far out sounds so sick. If we turn the shimmer, just go crazy on it, and beautiful. Yeah, go crazy, have fun, and yeah, if you got any requests or comments or whatever, just yeah, leave them down below. Let me know what you want me to have a go at next, and I'll see if I can pull it off. Hey, editing Cam here. Totally forgot something else to tell you. You gotta chuck in the doubler. So if you've updated your quad Cortex to Core OS 3 or above, you'll have the doubler and just a whole bunch of stuff. But the doubler is really cool. So just absolutely cranks the stereo width. I think it just sounds amazing. And yeah, put it in on the bass as well. I thought that sounded quite good. And just gives it a whole heap more width. I think there's some secret sauce going on though. I think it's doing this thing called the Haas effect, where you basically the left plays, and then in this case 6 milliseconds later the right plays, and that's what gives it this more stereo width. But I think it's also altering the pitch on both channels as well. It just sounds a little bit funky, and I think it's brilliant. Just gonna put this on everything now. It's great. So yeah, signing out. Also, since it's been so long, and so many of you have watched the last video and stuff, I'm gonna make that patch available on my Cortex cloud. Just share it so you can download it onto your Cortex and have fun if you couldn't really follow the tutorial. But yeah, have a nice one, and yeah, peace out. Happy synth basing or something. Bye.